Buddy, I only have 6 brothers. 𝕱𝖏𝖊𝖆𝖊𝖆𝖊𝖏, I seriously doubt there's any pre-Clycon race family member that I'm aware.
Stop meeting like this, boy.
Who the fuck just said that to me? Holy shit. Gumbly?
You know, me having to travel over yonder just to kick your red ass back to Timbuktu. I know, $20 chump change and all that, but that don't mean I don't gotta let it slide. I came here to collect, be it your bills or your bones. So what's your move, boy?
What? Wait, did you come here because I owe you money? 20. What even is $20? You know how fucking old I am? When do I even owe you 20? Oh, wait a minute.
You forget the times we live in, son. Those $20 couldn't got me that Mando skin in Fortnite. You took it from me. You took it from me.
Look, even if I don't have it on me right now. I don't have $20, but if you just give me like a minute, I can go and, you know, like suck some dick or something, you know what I mean? Like,
lucky for you though. I just thought of a perfect workaround for our little predicament here.
Wait, what do you have in store?
Unfortunately for you, it doesn't mean you get a free pass on your ass beating.
Ass beat?
So, let's see what you've learned from Sultan Boy. Kyodai.
Here we go again! Right now! Let's go!
Sorry to do this, Kyodai, but we're bound by oath.
Where are we even going, man?
There is one other way to pay me back, son.
No, please.
You have him.
Package secured. Hope you don't mind damaged goods.
Finally, it's time.
This is Hideki Kamiya. In the modern age, he is now known as the leader and CEO of Clovers, a new studio filled with promising young talent who nearly 2 years ago produced a max exodus from Platinum Games. This is Hideki Kamiya in 2001. Yeah, middle-aged and crazy. A man who is currently seen trying to catch a few Z's upon his subordinates making fun of his work on Resident Evil 1.5. Today, the modern Kamiya is often seen as a legend, a veteran who, despite his lowly work ethic, is responsible for somehow leading the charge on classics. However, merely 25 years ago, the classic Hideki Kamiya had none of these accolades, a mere bum surrounded by greatness. But Kamiya was never one to back down. Despite his emotional decisions, Kamiya was still a hungry man. He wasn't about to let his ethic define the avatar, the vessel that he had created. Eager to prove his status atop the board, after finishing localization work on Devil May Cry 1, Kamiya would head into the rest of 2001 with a pungent stride. Along with Studio 4, he and his team were set to immediately produce the sequel to the classic. Despite never doing sequels himself, Kamiya was set to create the sequel of Kings, and would finally be able to stake his place at the mountaintop along with his team of Team Little Devils. He would go on to create Devil May Cry 2. Oh. Oh, God. Of course, this is what I would say if we lived in a perfect world. Instead, what we got is this piece of shit. Released in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, known as January of 2003, was Devil May Cry 2.
For most fans of action games, this title's reputation far and away precedes any kind of necessary introduction. But for those who have yet to be regaled with tales of this game's infamy, long story short is that this is the sequel to Capcom's legendary action title, which we covered here on Brain Alert previously. It's been 2 years since we decided to cover the next entry, and for good reason, because most longtime series fans agree that this game is the worst in the entire franchise. From dumbed-down gameplay to profoundly dry character moments, repetitive slogfest encounters, to me literally falling asleep mid-boss fight my first time playing it, there is no shortage of examples showing just how far this game had fallen from its predecessor. Now, naturally, this begs the question: how can you go from this to this with a release gap of 2 years? DMC2's troubles began first and foremost before DMC1 had even finished localization. Capcom was sure they had something quite special on their hands, and had ordered a sequel almost in secret to cash in on the game's potential popularity. With the video games industry quickly veering towards console markets instead of arcade cabinets, Capcom had been diverting more and more manpower to the former, including their development teams that were made up of exclusively arcade-savvy programmers with zero home console knowledge. Their arcade division had struggled to produce any worthwhile console titles so far, so in a bizarre business decision, Capcom had handed off the next Devil May Cry game to them, so they would at least have some kind of pre-established basis to work off of.
In terms of what Capcom Studio 1 was, basically, Capcom Studio 1's main job was creating and porting arcade games to home consoles. Games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, CVS 2, Millionaire, the fuck? And even a 3D Gundam game. This studio, of course, was led by one Noritaka Funamizu. If you don't know who Funamizu was, basically, Funamizu was the head of the farm at this point in time, who of course was once infamous for pulling a young Hideki Itsuno aside several times throughout the development of Street Fighter Alpha and straight up telling him to his face that he had no talent. But despite his roughness at times, Funamizu still led a largely ripe studio. This was until the 2000s. As the home console era picked up steam following the release of Sony's PlayStation 2, Capcom made it clear that arcades were on the out. Yeah, you keep telling yourself, Capcom. It totally wasn't because of the fact that your asses were getting kicked by Tekken or Soul Calibur or anything. No, it's okay. Yeah, it's alright, guys. But anyway, during the beginning of the 2000s, home consoles were quickly becoming more than just game consoles. Now they were not only game consoles, but they were media devices, capable of playing movies, TV shows, connecting to the internet, even playing CDs. With this type of accessibility comes a demand from outside people, what we would call people. Things like this eventually start a demand, and Capcom believed this to be a sign to start assigning people who had no fucking idea how to make an action hack-and-slash game to making an action hack-and-slash game. However, as good as Capcom Studio 1 was at porting 3D textures and models, as it turns out, creating things from scratch wasn't easy. These motherfuckers went from buying apples to now trying to grow them.
Kamiya, who had been the visionary behind the first game, wouldn't have even heard of what Capcom was up to until an employee of the arcade division approached him one day asking for DMC1's design docs. Naturally, Kamiya inquired why he'd need these, to which the unnamed employee blankly stated, "Why, for Devil May Cry 2, of course." The mystery employee in question was actually the chosen director for the game, and by this time, it was already in production under his team. This was the first time he'd even heard that Capcom had given the big okie dokie for another DMC game, and assumed no one told him because Capcom probably fired his ass due to causing delays during previous projects due to his habits. To Kamiya's surprise, it had nothing to do with his early onset alcoholism, and Capcom ordered it under a different division for business reasons, marking this as the first nail in the coffin for DMC2. No one working on this game had done any development on the first title, so this is where Kamiya's involvement with this game virtually ends. Instead, the rest of DMC2 was spearheaded by a largely unknown dev team, with only certain artists and programmers ever coming to light sharing their experience developing the project. And much of the game's dev cycle had been recounted by character designer Daigo Ikeno, who claims the team was given free reign over the project with practically zero concrete direction. Originally, this game wasn't even gonna have Dante as the protagonist, but instead just a guy. Like, some dude. Dude may cry. The most we know is he was gonna wear a green jacket. Since there wasn't really any push to make this a DMC game, the dev team kinda got carried away with the visuals and overall designs, which eventually led to DMC2 feeling quite starkly inconsistent with its predecessor. The greatest example of this unanimous, we're just gonna make this how we want to mindset was when the team finally decided to throw Dante in as the main character. DMC2's producers, Yoshi Tanaka, had not been fond of Dante's brash, wisecracking nature seen in the first game, and had made him, deliberately, far more cold and withdrawn in DMC2. Dante is so sullen in this game you'd think something fucking horrible happened to the guy between this game and DMC1, which, I mean, yeah, but not to get off topic. Point is that Devil May Cry 2 had taken great liberties design-wise from the first game. The first drafts of the project seemed inspired and honestly not bad of a start, and cast a wide net in terms of ideas and mythologies to draw from, where DMC1's enemy roster was mostly puppets and creatures vaguely inspired by atavistic alchemical records. Devil May Cry 2 had taken from Norse mythology, Greek mythology, and even the Christian canon to build its far larger enemy and boss roster. Ultimately, the alchemical undercurrent still exists, and whether or not it was an exception deliberately taken from DMC1 or the DMC2 dev team just so happened to also find this shit to be cool is up in the air. Regardless, the designs displayed a strong artistic direction and overall were oozing with potential for interesting areas and progression. So, what happened with all this? Well, turns out, 6 months out from release, this was all they had. This was all the team had to show. What you see here, this is what the game had going for it. Cool concepts, but absolutely nothing actually set in stone or even remotely finished. To give you some idea of how fucked this game was, this balls deep into development. The story was decided on, but the dev team didn't write much of anything, because of course that would be too much work. Instead, DMC2's plot and story were apparently outsourced to an external company. So there was a story, but there were no actual storyboards written, and as a result, there were no cutscenes shot or even fucking thought of. Dante himself was still just an idea. Devil Trigger hadn't been implemented, and he straight up only had one attack. At the very least, the devs were competent enough to realize Stinger was essential, so at the very least, someone slapped some shit together for that. But the game was rapidly approaching release, and it basically never even entered the goddamn oven. That shit is still preheating. Eventually, Capcom figured out that the dev team had accomplished basically nothing for the past year and a half, and called upon a series of different staff members from other projects inside Capcom Studio One. Out of the many poor souls who were dragged into this, one man in particular stands out. A man who was simply relaxing after a hard year's work of finishing his duties as director for Capcom vs SNK 2. He would get the call. A call that would change his wild young days and test his utter bitterness. One very important man who would define this series moving forward.
That's when Hideki Itsuno, he approaches. Hideki Itsuno, the man, the myth, the legend. At this point in time, Hideki Itsuno was already a pretty established dev inside of the arcade division for Capcom Studio One, a young man who was basically thrown to the fucking lions for Street Fighter Alpha. And when I mean thrown to the lions, I literally do not exaggerate. My man was given exactly half of a year to make Street Fighter Alpha 1 along with art from the GOAT, Bangus. Eventually, after some classic hazing from Funamizu, Itsuno would slowly go on to turn into a beast, slowly transitioning from a mere lamb to directing classic, underrated, unk-ass fighting games like Rival Schools, the underrated Power Stone on the Dreamcast, and of course, Capcom VS SNK 2, featuring the GOAT, Yamazaki. Hell yeah.
Hideaki Itsuno had been tasked by Capcom themselves to salvage this huge pile of shit a mere 6 months out from release. Itsuno was brought in on a supplementary role to replace the old director and try to steer this ship from the iceberg. Though really at this point Itsuno was dealing with maybe half the ship already gone, and even that's being generous. The 6-month march through hell to get this game even near playable could only be described as cruel and unusual torture, almost like Capcom itself had been afflicted with a cancerous tumor that needed all of its internal manpower to get out the door and remove. Men were chewed up and spat out of this game's development cycle like a multi-front world war. One such poor soul, Bingo Moriyashi, had joined Capcom as a new hire in the company, and was basically used to do shitty grunt work no one in any position higher than entry level wanted to do. He recounts only sleeping 2 hours a night, getting home from work, bathing, changing clothes, and heading right back, even sleeping at work so he wouldn't be late. Moriyashi would review finished assets, write columns, write translations, write the instruction manual, and still scrounged enough time to write as an independent author. All of this pushed Moriyashi to the point where the guy was coughing up blood due to the compounding stress of the project, and though Capcom had been throwing manpower at this thing, it still wasn't getting done fast enough. More blood must be shed. DMC2 eventually turned into this cataclysmic black hole in the company's productivity that sucked in writers, producers, programmers, anyone with development skills from all different projects, ripping them away into the bottomless gutter that was this game's production cycle, regardless of their own game's relevant importance. Because no matter how many devs were thrown onto the pile, DMC2 would never be fully polished, and would release to shockingly okay reception. In fact, despite this game's infamously flawed development cycle, most articles in game magazines have found it to be not totally appalling. Some newcomers and folks who didn't mesh with DMC1 actually enjoyed it. But what about everyone else? Well, one look at this game's lasting legacy instead tells you a different story. Most people could tell that this game was released as a vastly underwhelming, inferior experience compared to the first game. Where DMC1 innovated, DMC2 merely stagnated, and it was written all over the game's miserable 31 missions, split between 2 characters, because misery loves company, of course. Devil May Cry 2 would go on to be remembered as not just the worst DMC game, but literally one of the worst games of all time. So that leads us back here, why we're even making this video.
This will be the definitive test for whether or not this game deserves the hate. The definitive video on Devil May Cry 2 in Brain Alert's fashion. We have a man who hates this game, a man who has never played this game, and a man who dares to turn the other cheek and give it a chance upon a repeat playthrough. We will be playing this game collectively in its entirety. Both Dante's disc as well as Lucia's, the secondary protagonist and playable character of DMC2. This video will more than likely be fucked up, which is fitting in accordance with the subject matter at hand, mind you. But, without further delay, let's play in the mud and find the fuck out to see if there's anything worth salvaging here. I, Gumbly, have never played Devil May Cry 2. I haven't seen a lick of gameplay of it, not from E3 or any of that. I haven't even smelled a trailer before. All I'm going off of in this video is pure word of mouth on how much of a fuck up this was. Specifically, Weenop and Hapy G's word of warning to stay far, far away from this product, never to even gaze in its direction. Unfortunately for me, I'm not one to follow instructions very well. I will be covering a sizable chunk of this game, going off of no outside comparisons, as little as possible, at least. No knowledge of this game's development and background, just me, the game, and the ever-ticking sanity meter at my side. So, who's ready?
No point in dragging this out, we're just gonna go right in. DMC2's opening is probably the least offensive thing this game throws at the player. It's a quick rehash of DMC1's opening, regaling us with the tale of Sparta and his whole saving humanity deal. Okay. Type shit, okay. If there's one constant throughout the entire DMC series, it's that these games will never let you forget how badass this guy was. We're also in a museum. And no, Dante did not turn into a sexy, racially ambiguous chick with red hair. Lucia is just here in the opening too. And that's when Dante makes his appearance.
Till next time, Sparta.
It's a weird nothing opening that sets the disjointed, awkward tone that precedes the entire rest of the game. Like, yeah, DMC1's opening with Trish and Dante was goofy and campy, but this feels almost like a comedy skit because of how awkward everything feels. Next thing we know, Dante's on top of a cathedral, spots an old cottage, jumps to his death, and here we are, mission 1. Oh man, we're really doing this, aren't we? Okay, so let's address some differences off the bat. The instant you gain control of Dante in this game, something feels weird. Like, yeah, he runs, he shoots, he can wall run now, and even has some extra sauce added to his dodge rolls. Dante's doing full-on backflips now. But as soon as you start swinging... What is that? What in the world is this supposed to do? Dante's base melee moveset feels like he had a fucking devil lobotomy between games because holy shit, this stinger is sad. It's sad to watch. It's like watching a puppy trip over a rock. They worked on this longer than most of the game, by the way. I mean, on the bright side, at least he does kicks in the air now, if you're into that. DMC2 starts off almost deceptively okay-ish. Really, apart from melee, there's not much here that's setting off any alarms. That is, until our first combat encounter. Here's our first impression of DMC2's enemy roster, as well as its gameplay. Gibbet. The Gibbet guys can almost be equated to this game's version of the puppets. There's a few variations, and yeah, fight's over already. Immediately after, we have the Puya, another colorful addition. It's a bird. It flies. Sometimes straight up outside of the camera view. This game quickly leads you into a false sense of security by having a sword on Dante's back. You will not be using this anytime soon in this game. Something I found immediately striking about this game, despite it being so fucking awful, is that, conceptually speaking, the setting is pretty cool. DMC1's Malay Island being a rejected RE4 castle lended the game a unique, gothic visual flavor that stuck out pretty starkly from most other PS2 titles at the time. This place Island is interesting in the fact that it follows suit in those gothic sensibilities. What's better than a gothic castle? A gothic city. The city portion legitimately looks cool, and is definitely one of the better ideas this game ended up with. Fighting across these streets and rooftops in an abandoned Baroque-inspired cityscape flooded with demons sounds like a great time, but unfortunately this is DMC2, so it's just back to mashing square until the combat music stops and I can turn the game off, beat my dick, and go to bed. The upgrade statue makes its triumphant return here. It's about time we see what we can get our hands on. Speaking of time, it's trivia time. This is Rebellion's first appearance in the entire franchise. The DMC3 design stuck for the most part. No one's used or even really acknowledges this version of the weapon since, and that's probably for the best. We can also purchase items. The classic vital stars for health, purple stars for DT, holy star, smell of fear. Smell of fear. Smell of fear. Which has the most pointless esoteric use imaginable, avoiding 3 hits. I mean, okay, the orbs are here too, as always. More level to get through. Here's a cutscene in case the suspiciously placed orb wasn't enough to show where to go. We're locked in a combat arena with these monkeys, so now's a good time to talk about DMC2's Devil Trigger. This is another first, DT not being tied to a specific weapon, like the first game. It's pretty underwhelming at first, but melee isn't the star of the show here just yet. This speaks for itself. There's no upgrade. There's no, like, special ability. His guns just do this in DT. I hope you like it because it's going to be your main method of killing half of the enemies in this game because it's fucking broken. Dante gets a key, front flips through a door, and somehow this level's still going. Hate this game all you want, but it's responsible for not just the wall running that would become Trickster in DMC3, but also Dante can use twosome time, which would eventually just be relegated to the gunslinger style also in the next game. Across these rooftops is the end of the level. Finally at the cottage.
Mission 3. Yay. I dropped 3 reasons why I shouldn't be here right now. Look, I'm gonna try and do my best to give this game a chance. I've heard a lot of bad things about it. Matter of fact, nothing but bad things about it. But that's not gonna matter today, because I've never played it before. And I'm pretty optimistic that I'll find at least a few good things to salvage here. Although Mission 3 right now isn't really doing too good of a job at doing that. Because all that's in here is just this encounter. Consult your goat. Whatever the fuck this is the half of the mission. First half. Have fun. It's just this. All the way until you consult your goat. Alright, that's that taken care of. Now for the second half of the mission. After I spend 2 minutes wondering what the fuck I'm supposed to do next. There's a lot of that, by the way. This is not a game with good directions. Either that or maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of wandering around. I believe this is the first boss fight you encounter. It's been a while since I really played this game. I took a very long break after I finished recording. Spoiler alert, but not really. Orangurera. Yeah, I really try hard to make this fight look interesting. I don't really want to do the ebony and ivory cheese that everyone talks about. I can definitely feel that you're supposed to use him when he's swinging around like that, but I want to see how far I can get with Rebellion. Like, maybe if I just level it enough, it'll be not as bad as everyone claims it to be. But for a first boss, it's not really interesting, to say the least. You do get to brutalize him though, like you're playing Dark Souls 2 or something. I do enjoy that. I hope there's more of that. The music is really nothing to hoot and holler about. It's a placeholder. I don't know. This is the second half of the mission. If most missions are this short in the future, then this really shouldn't be a long video for me. Yeah. Wow, that really is the mission. Consult your goat, kill the monkey, get the key, and leave. That's... wow.
Mission 4 wraps up Dante's time in the city outskirts, and it's nothing we haven't already seen before. In making this video, and subsequently finding interesting things to even talk about in this game past the first mission, I noticed that these monkey enemies don't even notice Dante until you start swinging on the nearest one. But what's even more interesting is that they have like these weird dynamic reactions. DMC2 really puzzles me sometimes because despite many of its obvious fuck up flaws, there's glimpses of some serious attention to detail here and there that you'd expect from something significantly more polished. There's even a few moments I catch myself feeling a little bad because certain things just feel like total wasted potential. Then I remember DMC3 picked up whatever this game tried to do and nearly perfected it. Also, I think I figured out how this game's combo system works. Unlike DMC1, or any DMC game for that matter, where Dante's combos change depending on how you time your attacks, DMC2 instead will change Dante's moves predicated on what input you move the left stick on. It's kind of like directional inputs in a fighting game, which makes sense considering a lot of the dev team came from Capcom's arcade division. So pushing up after 2 attacks will do this, doing it after 4 can do this. Hell, you can do million stab in this game by pulling this off in DT. Speaking of DT, Dante can become a bird, grab this blue orb, and we're already halfway through the level once we're out on this harbor. Here, we are presented with a dilemma. A perfectly camera-panned gate. Clearly, we must go through said gate. A normal player figures that the way through must be expedited through some... I gotta turn this down. A normal player figures that the way through must be expedited through some other factor in the level, be it a switch or a key. So of course we have this ancient Mesopotamian apparatus which, intuitively, so very obviously, opens this regular metal gate. Now we walked a bit to get here, and it's closing. So naturally, Dante moves faster in DT, we run back, probably with time to spare, just in time to... Okay, maybe I wasn't fast enough. So we've got a fucking problem. I don't know why this is even a section. We have wings. Why can't Dante just fly over the gate? Do we really need this combat encounter? I was so bored I just started S ranking with Ebony and Ivory, which is a feat I previously thought was entirely impossible. All that just to get another DT upgrade that, you probably guessed, makes Dante run ever so slightly faster. Listen. The idea of upgrades that give Dante different abilities when he's in DT is pretty awesome. But there is not a single fucking instance in this game's combat where running faster presents itself as a sound tactical option. Same with flying. These were both intrinsic DT abilities when using Alistair in the first game. Why did we just split them up for no good reason? Who can say? We can run fast and get through the gate now. Our last trial for Mission 4 is the ever-exalted 𝕉𝖏𝖊𝖆 boss fight. You heard that right. 𝕉𝖏𝖊𝖆. 𝕉𝖏𝖊𝖆, everybody. Our second official boss if you don't count Goatling. This is where this game's issues really start to stick out. The problems present themselves when you try to clear out her tentacles and the realization hits you that this does absolutely zero fucking damage whatsoever. Off to a good start, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. You'd think, maybe, the tentacles would stay down or would at least stay out of your way for a while, but they honestly regenerate within a span of like 15 to 20 seconds. Let me remind you that there are 4 blocking the way to the actual boss, the big blue nerd neck bitch in the middle. Hope you had your bib on because I got another full platter of shit for you to eat. 𝕉𝖏𝖊𝖆 also has a poison or acid AoE around her body if you try to hit her without taking care of at least one tentacle first. She also shoots this same purple mist, but it doesn't do anything, so either Neobards fucked this up when making the HD collection, or Capcom did this, because this game was made with the budget of a crumpled up dollar, some used floss, and a Don Quixote gift card with the time frame of 6 months. She's the first legitimate challenge I had encountered when playing this game, but only because I didn't care enough to put in bare minimum effort. This would probably be easier if I switched to the flight mode for DT, but I just wanted it to be over with. Wasted a gold orb, but it's finally done. The mission ends off with Dante stealing this motorcycle and claiming a random shotgun. This game can be kinda cool when it wants to, but it doesn't make up for any of the bullshit so far.
What the fuck? Why? And not even the fucking man upstairs likes this shit, does he? Let me tell you something, man. Low key, this mission reminds me of the coffee shits, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sitting at school at 9 a.m. and within the first hour, this fucking awful waft hits me like an Alabama stepfather. That's when I realized that some bitch farted, bruh. Ain't that a damn bitch? Bitches who all they do in the morning is drink 2 cups of coffee. They go to work and then they start farting. And it has that fucking pungent coffee bean aroma. That shit is bad too, because you can like smell it from a yard away. Even with the door closed too. Like, fuck you, man. What did I do to deserve this affliction? Like, bro, I'm just fucking tired of it. Day in and day out coffee shits, bro. And somehow it's only girl teachers too. Somehow not one dude teacher in my school never smelled this damn bad. I guess maybe it's because, like, I guess they have a premonition that because they're a guy, like, they know, you know? So I guess they take that extra effort because maybe they be smelling like, yo, dead granny every night. So I don't know. You know who don't smell bad? Latinas, bruh. Oh, I don't know what it is, but somehow they be smelling like a flower field, like that one in the city of France. This is how starting up Mission 5 in the critically acclaimed character action RPG Devil May Cry 2 makes me feel. Upon entering the mission, our protagonist Dante and I are graced with God. These bitches are known as Freaky and Gurky. Ain't it a damn shame that we gotta kill a damn pound of dog for this fucking no reason? That sucks, man. And man, what a goddamn time I have with these dogs. You know, I don't really know if it's time to say it just yet, but man, this might be possibly the worst AI in a boss fight I have ever played. And in this game, pretty crazy this early on, but yeah, I don't know. In the Bibble, Jerry and Freck are 2 of my dad Odin's pets that surround him to basically add more damn aura. This man sure does love his aura. In the Quran, Abraham describes what these creatures represent. Gary's name represents voraciousness, while Frecky's represents violence. Wow. Other beliefs are pretty crazy about Frecky and Gary. Apparently, another reason Odin surrounded himself with these creatures is that he's considered a wolf god. It's true, I looked it up on wolf.com, and would even turn into a wolf on certain occasions. It's true, my dad was an avid furry. Unfortunately, while I respect the voraciousness and fucking righteousness, I really think we might be talking about something else, because yeah. Oh, holy shit. Oh, that's it? What? Who even is this fucking guy? We got like 5 whatever. Let's move on. Traveling through the city, you might notice something strange. Why the fuck does a secluded island have skyscrapers and roads and highways? What the hell? We go from some quiet coastal village to this? Ain't no damn way. This is because, originally, Devil May Cry 2 was in fact supposed to take place in New York City. Allow me to explain. In the 3142 graphic art book, one of the former members of Capcom Studio 1, Daigo Aikino, said in page 207 that originally the game was supposed to take place in New York City with a man in the green jacket. What's more interesting about this though is that there are some old wives' tales that this build got cancelled after the events of September 11th. But I don't really believe any of that. Kinda bullshit considering the game was greenlit the weeks following DMC1's release in Japan. And that would mean that they designed New York and everything in 2 weeks. Definitely a lie. But it's interesting. I'm gonna try to sprinkle in some fun facts that I've heard over the years that's 100% Oh my god. Save us from God. Start milking God. Start worshiping God. Elmo. Elmo saving us from God. Elmo petting a nice, wholesome, knowing. Elmo on Monday. Elmo on Tuesday. What? Elmo on Friday. What? Saturday. What? Elmo on Sunday. What? Fuck beer. Drink beer. Fuck beer. The infested. I have officially given up. That's about all the analysis you're gonna hear from me. Fuck! This is where all hope is lost. The infested tank. Like, what the fuck, man? Where's the soul? Where's the heart? Fucking, how do nice gentlemen explain this shit to me when trying to convince me how good this game is? Dude, I think you're on fucking crack, bro. Yeah, we're gonna have to touch your fucking penis, dude. Yeah, who the hell comes up with shit like this, man? My dead grandmama could code better enemies than this with a classic DualShock controller. She's fucking 6 feet under the ground, bro. Holy shit. The infested looks like it would belong in Yo Mama's pussy instead of this game. Better yet, it looks like a whole ass bitch. Did I fucking mention that this shit is on DMD, by the way? And there's nothing different. They don't even go into DT. They don't grow legs. They don't grow into a beautiful woman and sit on my dick. All they fucking do is exist. That's not even with explaining the theorem. How the hell does a parasite gain sentience of a machine and make it run? What happens when the infested tank runs out of fuel? How does the infetus load the tank shells without a man? How many tank shells are left? How does a tank shoot fire? Do my balls still work? Whatever the case may be, we gotta deliver Bhagwan the sacrifice. Once we kill all of the fetid, we gotta take our legs and wheelbarrow holding my comically large balls over the end of this bridge. Under, you will find the heart of offense. Yeah, I bet y'all didn't even know about this shit, huh? I bet y'all went directly past Ichabod the tank, didn't you? I'm watching you, boy. Now, what does the heart of offense do? I don't know. Look it up. Anyway, time for a secret. Hey, baby. Yeah, dude. So, you remember how awesome DMC1 secret missions were? Well, fuck you, buddy. Now, in DMC2, you gotta fight 6 goatlings. Oh, and the room is a textured box. Yeah, have fun. Fucking have a baby. Alright. It's time. The infested chopper. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's the worst fucking boss in this game. Notice how I didn't say boss fight, Because really, there is no fight. There is no DMC2. There is no chopper. There is no anything anymore. There's only shooting it with guns. This is pretty much the classic DMC2 boss. There's nothing worse than the infested chopper. It's a true masterclass in schizophrenic fucking ass blasting level design and boss design. Which is why we actually won't be fighting him, since this game sucks. I need to call Poo Poo Man. Hello? This Poo Poo Man? We need your skills. We need your seed. Many people on a daily basis, they come up to me, they knock on my front door and they tell me, hey dude, DMC2 is actually good. But when I start shooting lasers into their mind, I realize that they themselves have only played DMC2 up to this point. They don't want to show you this part of DMC2 because they're wrong. This is my mission. I'm gonna show you what these fucking little children who grew up in 2003, they don't want you to see. They don't want you to see any of this. The infested, the 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖌, the infested, the 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖌, the infested, the infesty, the unfested, the indefested, the fenestant, the fuentes, the festive, the vestant, the recipient, the restant, the valstant, the crescent, the regiment. Infested chopper is what happens when white men lose their way. Put a man in a fish-infested room for 3 months, and this is what happens. Invent a new way to piss razors instead of making this shit. Teach a man how to swim. Anything. Please, and thank you. Ear.
What is even happening in this game? I can't wrap my head around it. Do you know what I've noticed, too? Dante's silent. For a wisecracking devil hunter from the first game, why make him mute? Like, he just saw all of that crap happen in front of him. Would he not say some witty shit? Like, have him say, like, looks like rent's due. Just anything. Admittedly, I spent a lot more time than I should have fighting this boss. But to be fair, I did die a pretty stupid death. But even then, it takes a pretty long while to kill him. Like, I get he's a huge fucker, but does he really need like 7 minutes just to down? Like, why not just base a mission around him and make him a shorter fight? Instead of just making this guy stretch the whole 8 minutes that I spent trying to kill him. It makes little sense to me. I was going to compare it to something out of Dead Space, but that's really just insulting to the Dead Space series. This might be my first 0 out of 10 mission, if I'm being honest. I didn't enjoy my time here. Anyway, boss is dead, mission's done. On to the next one.
Alright.
Mission 7 brings Dante to a unique DMC2 location, an oil rig in the middle of the ocean. Might be a little confusing, but the rig is offshore, This facility has a tram that runs to it. We're not actually there right now. It's weird for me to admit this, but this is probably one of my favorite missions in the whole game, if not just one of my favorite set pieces. The rig also doubles as a sort of demonic research lab, and it made me realize that sci-fi environments are something of a rarity across the DMC franchise, really only popping up in like 35% of DMC4 and nowhere else. There's certainly a debate to be had whether or not science fiction elements even belong in a setting like DMC, especially so following the release of a certain adaptation I shan't not name. You can pull off mixing sci-fi with magic and still have it be magic. Hell, most well-known sci-fi franchises straight up just have magic in some way, shape, or form and leave it as an unexplainable force of nature. Marvel, DC, Image Comics, Star Wars up until midichlorians were introduced. Fuck it, Warhammer 40,000, which depending on what race we're even talking about is either full space magic, full sci-fi technology, or somewhere dead in the middle. Tangents aside, this is, aesthetically speaking, some of DMC2's highlights when it comes to recapturing those faint traces of DMC1's atmosphere. While it doesn't come anywhere close to the first game's Romanesque, Baroque, oil-painted aesthetic, DMC2 does well to experiment and at least attempt to branch out into urban and sci-fi environments while still maintaining that same gothic undercurrent. It's something I honestly consider to be this game's strong suit, and let's be honest, this game can honestly take whatever strengths it can get by this point. Moving on, we've got a new enemy. The indignant Tesseract. They will blow the fuck up if you shoot them, hit them, or even stand within an 8-foot proximity, so it's probably better to just run past all this. At the bottom, we've got this pad that'll charge Dante's DT, where astute, well-learned gamers with excellent gumption can assume is needed to fly up this shaft to another DT upgrade. Dante can claim the Flame Heart, so now all his DT moves do fire instead of lightning. This is cool. I honestly like the customizable DT in this game, but it's way less impressive considering that DMC1 did it with 2 distinct weapons, with 2 distinct movesets, and it was a lot more intuitive. Also, I'm not totally sure that fire attacks would be suitable in this area, predominated with fiery enemies. Dead in the middle of this lava pit, they somehow have flowing to an oil rig. We've got a tucked away little room with our first weapon that isn't Rebellion. Vendetta is the first alternative we have to our starting Devil Arm, and it is a carbon copy of Rebellion with shorter range. I mean, shit, at least it kind of looks cool. Kind of reminds me of the Beast Lord from the air a little bit, but I think I'm going to have to pass on it for now. On account of the shift to sci-fi elements, we have a classic diagonal elevator shaft. More and more, this place reminds me of Black Mesa or even a little bit of Shadow Moses, especially with this insane camera fuckery this one section has. Since the rest of this level is a bit of a drag, we'll be instead discussing some of the more esoteric mechanics in DMC2, and it starts with this game's style meter. What I found by playing the game is that the meter seems to really favor Dante's special moves, like Stinger and High Time. Naturally, the higher your ranking, the more orbs you'll gain when enemies die. But what if I told you that we could further maximize our profits? Allow me to introduce you to orb manipulation, an exploit favored by DMC2 speedrunners to stack retarded amounts of red orbs in the shortest amount of time possible by abusing the game's peculiar style system. Essentially, how this mechanic works is by interrupting the style meter at hyper-specific intervals. The next 10 enemies Dante kills will drop a whopping 10 times more orbs than usual, provided they're killed while an S rank is active. There are 6 specific combinations in which orb manipulation can occur, 2 of which include getting an E rank, which is basically the equivalent of lightly brushing an enemy with your finger to build the lowest amount of rank possible. It's decent for making a few extra orbs by your lonely if you want to buy, like, I don't know, an extra smell of fear or some shit, but overall it's up there with the most obscure mechanics in the entire DMC franchise. So much so it's often debated whether or not it's straight up a bug or an intended feature, considering how specific the order of style rankings are in order to trigger it. I'm in the boat of people who consider it a bug, since DMC5 has a similar orb glitch that involves using Virgil's doppelganger to bring the Clyphot houseplant boss down to a hair of health and finishing it with a single attack, somehow netting the player, just a brisk 99 million orbs. I can say with firm certainty that this is no fucking feature. But if DMC3's secret green mode is anything to go off of, then the sky's the limit, I guess. Anyways, we've arrived at our stop, and practically the end of the level. As much as I'd love to talk about this next boss, the devs decided to give it its own mission, so I'll just have to pass it off to Hapy G instead.
Kill people. Kill. Oh, hey guys. I'm recording. Man, who the fuck put these quotes in the game like they're supposed to mean something? God, this shit sucks. Alright. Mission 8. Gotta start off by bartering a few devil stars for no particular reason. No big deal. Dante approaches our main antagonist, 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖊𝖆. That's right. There's a dark rumor going around that his name is Arius, but we found out his true name is actually 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆.
Do you eat? Men time.
Join me, Link, and I will make
the
your
fuck
face the
is
greatest
happening,
toy
man?
now.
Look at this fucking guy. Alright, so after 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆 dumps furious stars, it's time. Now, simply put, 𝕱𝖆𝖆𝖆 is our god and savior from hell. Dr. Doom himself fears this fuck-ass Lizard from the darkest reaches of your emancipated blood. Which is why we're gonna do a challenge. I'm gonna whip out my fucking Johnson and piss all over this controller. If I can beat this boss before my urinary waste expires, we can definitely say this game was controlled by 5 Russian monkeys. Fucking another attack he likes to do is pull you in with his goddamn tornado. But there's a dark secret as to why. This is because in the second half of this game, it's revealed through 𝕱𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆's long, banal backstory that he wants to suck your dick. I love booze fights on helicopter pads, and among all this game's faults, a helicopter pad boss has me pleased as punch. Okay, Ingested Chopper. Okay, Ingested Chooper wasn't that great. This fight kind of feels like an evil encounter with a jacked frog from the hood. So you best be on your toes while this cantankerous, fiery bulldozer is throwing out combos like it's going out of style. Unfortunately for him, we're gonna have to perform an anal evacuation on this poor fucking creature. Sorry, man. That's just how it goes. You know, now that I start thinking about it, what the fuck does 𝕱𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆 even mean? I know what Taurus means, it's a bull. What does Fury mean? Like the movie Fury with Shane? A bull is a mammal, and it doesn't lay eggs, but it's a lizard. Who the fuck is this guy? This dude dresses like he's fucking about to kill somebody, bro. Doesn't even make any sense. What is 𝕱𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆? Someone please let me know. Ah! This guy definitely goes to Nier concerts looking for bitches, bro. I respect it, actually. Never mind. We're good. Just kidding.
Mission 9. The Great Escape. Yeah, they're doing a Metroid in here. Except when Metroid do it, it's kinda cool. I know I said no comparisons, but, what are you gonna do about it? Yeah, there's really nothing interesting to say here. I did forget to do a thing here that makes me wander around for like I want to say 3 minutes, while hearing this woman on the mic say warning every 5 seconds. You know, a little bit of annoying stuff like that, but what can you do about it? Alright, awesome. Here, escape vehicle acquired. Let's get on the plane, fly it out of here. Oh, is that right? We rammed the plane into the... Okay. Yeah, don't fly it out of here or anything. It's just... Wow. Your expectations exceeded yet? Are you surprised? Alright, enough of this. Next.
Dante has arrived at some place. It's a big jump in scenery from the oil rig we were just at. Also, yes, Dante has received a change of clothes. This is Diesel Dante, an unlockable skin you get for beating the game. Or if you really want the drip upgrade that bad, you can unlock it with cheats at any point. At first, this seems totally out of fucking place in a game like this and doesn't make much sense whatsoever. And the context only makes it slightly more understandable. So Diesel is an Italian clothing designer that apparently also worked with video game companies for clothing used for in-game character designs. And DMC2's producer, Tsuyoshi Tanaka, had worked with them prior to joining Capcom. Evidently, Tanaka and his old Diesel buddies thought it was a great idea to use DMC2 as a source of marketing for the brand, instead of maybe finishing development on the fucking game. So that leaves us with the Diesel costume. Most people laugh at this shit, but I will die on the hill that Diesel Dante looks badass as fuck, and this is actually a goated outfit. Admittedly, it's pretty far from something Dante would actually wear, but it doesn't look bad at all. Hell, a few years back someone made a mod that removed the scarf and altered the colors to be more in line with Dante's general look, and yeah, no, this is awesome. I rest my case. We haven't seen anything quite like this in DMC since. Though product placement in video games is an interesting rabbit hole that has only gotten exponentially more insane as the years go on. Though it's always the fashion ones that really stick out. Like Gentle Monster collaborating with Tekken last year. That shit gave us a pair of shades you could get both in-game and real life, and I sorely regret missing out on it. Also, these ads with Kazuya are like the funniest shit I've ever seen. They made this... Anyways, what's going on in this level? We've got this gate that leads needs immediate opening. So we're gonna hit these two orbs and we should be good to go. Okay then, I fucking guess not. This brings us to this massive wet muddy hole where we've got to contend with savage golems and flying babies until the real star of the show rears its ugly head. This is 𝕯𝖏𝖊𝖆𝖌, and is yet another sad stain on this game's track record of underwhelming fights. It's a big moth, so I've got something perfect for this. We will not be using the rocket launcher today. This fight is pretty bad. Hard to dispel any claims that this game relies too much on rage combat when this exists, as well as the infested chopper, as well as the Puya enemies. It's really bad when you can't even use the rocket launcher in a fight like this because the larva will instantly for Dante before the rocket even fires off. So Ebony and Ivory are really just the go-to for this battle. 𝕯𝖏𝖊𝖆𝖌 does nothing but sit back and summon huge ass worms, so you will literally just be double jumping and mag dumping and double jumping and mag dumping, and double jumping and mag dump for a good few minutes unless you'd rather just use double trigger here and speed it up somewhat slightly. It's a mess of a fight, so we're just gonna skip to the end.
I can't do it, Squidward. I can't do it, Squidward. Quard. I can't do it, Squidward. 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 Quard.
Fucking... I don't remember this mission. I need the Google Doc. What the fuck? What mission am I on?
He wields a spear and is obeyed by the wolf.
Man, shut the fuck. As per usual in this fuck-ass game, Mission 11 begins as always, in a completely different realm. I fucking swear we were just in New York. What happened? Wait, what the this game moves more around than fucking Doom Eternal, man. Anyway, fucking looking into the eye of Sauron. It calls me. It calls to me. And we get a secret mission! Yes! We get a secret mission. Oh my god. Damn, this shit is boring. Oh my god. Alright. We're actually gonna stop playing this game because there's something that I want to get off my chest. Something that I was gonna make into a video originally, but I guess this video might be the time to do it, ain't it? Because this is the time where I'm gonna talk about fucking, for no good reason, I'm gonna talk about Adi Shankar's Devil May Cry on Netflix. Fucking Dude Wipes presents Devil May Cry. Now, I for one was very excited for Devil May Cry to be put into a goddamn, and that was mostly because of one man, Adi Shankar. Now, who is Adi Shankar, you might be asking? Oh, he's a great guy. I'd love to tell you about him. I'd love to tell you my research as well. Now, on the surface, Adi Shankar is a pretty cool guy. He's a guy who first and foremost loves the IP that he's talking about. He's a fan just like I, and he wants to exude that. He wants to portray that through his writing, which I respect full-heartedly. Now, that is all the praise that I can give this motherfucker, Adi Shankar. Now, I for one was very excited to see what Adi Shankar could come up with. After all, I thought, he's the producer of Castlevania. He was the storyboard artist of Castlevania. You know, storyboard artistry is quite hard to pull off. It's a bit mathematical and you do have to calculate a lot of shit. It's a lost art as well. Storyboards really aren't that much of a thing anymore. So, at least I was thinking, this guy must be good for the job. And then, and then I watched some PKA. You know, you love that PK. Those guys are still around. Holy shit. I proceeded to watch one of the most cringe and autistic fucking things I have ever seen in my life. I myself have autism, you know. But unlike this fucking guy, I must have at least done something right, because I have never, ever fumbled an interview this hard in my entire life. This motherfucker had to have been off of something, bro. I don't even know where to begin. And eventually it got even worse. This led me to start looking things up on the great site called Reddit and many other forums. And I started to see what I had been dreading from a guy who's writing one of my favorite video game adaptations. This guy is a fucking asshole. So, after years, and I mean fucking years, of waiting for this show to finally have any sort of news, you can imagine my delight when I heard that not only was he the director and one of the lead writers for the show, this motherfucker was the visionary of this show. Visionary? Bro, who? Alright, I gotta do something for this description. Hapygourious will be the visionary. Bro, who the fuck calls themselves that? You didn't even do shit on Castlevania. This is the exact moment when I knew that the wrong stars had lined up. We had this motherfucker talking about how DMC is gonna be set in an alternate universe called the Bootleg Universe. I'd hear this motherfucker go on about how he would talk about the Bootleg Universe and its implications. He would talk about how it's a reference to things he grew up with in the 80s, like action figures, Reaganomics. Bro, who the fuck cares about any of this shit? Put the action and adventure in the bag, old man. You are 40 years old, and you are wearing guy liner, and you're not even gay. That doesn't make you cool, bro. Fucking start putting those fucking shorts on, brother. Now, as far as the show goes, it's honestly fine. It's not the worst thing in the world as far as the aesthetic and some of the ideas go. Johnny Young Bosch does a fantastic job as Dante, no doubt about it. Motherfuckers that are talking about Ruben Langdon, look dude, you gotta think about this. There have been multiple incarnations of Dante, and I've never complained about any of them. I can swap any Dante and it's fine. Ruben is not the end of the world if he leaves. Maybe a little good that Ruben's not here, to be honest with you, dog. Ooh boy. Some of the aesthetic is fine. The music is okay. I am not a fan of the 80s aesthetic music. I've never liked it. I don't understand the appeal to anyone under 30. I'm just not a big fan of it. I'm really not. My biggest problem with this show, though, just right off the bat, really stems from this point. The world building. Someone please kill this motherfucker, Adi Shankar. The world building is maybe the worst part about this show. This guy has an incessant need to humanize whatever foes our heroes are fighting. This motherfucker did the exact same shit in Castlevania, and it kinda worked there, since vampire stories have always been traditionally tragic ever since Bram Stoker's Dracula released. It always had humanizing elements, and it works there. But these are demons from hell, dude. The whole plot point of, well, they might actually share a common ancestor with humans is fucking stupid, and so unbelievably contrived. I cannot even believe people are giving this dude money. This show tries so hard to humanize these motherfuckers, and they do it in the laziest way, by making the lower tier demons just weird looking humans. And apparently, Sparta ruined everything, by sealing the fucking realms and leaving the demons to fend for themselves. Getting some weird virtue signaling vibes from this whole thing. Now, the thing is, there is nothing wrong with doing something like this in a TV show. I think that's great. Refugees do need to be somewhere safe. But here is the big problem with any of that. This is fucking Devil May Cry. This is a show where people kill people, bro. This is a fucking show where a motherfucker turns into a demon and kills things. That's all they should be. It shouldn't be anything else. But instead, we have to get some dumbass bullshit, like the United States government. Let us talk. Let us begin. Igor, Persona 5. I genuinely have no words to describe what the fuck this guy. Now, realistically speaking, just from the heart, whenever you try and insert this idea of what the world thinks about DMC happening in real life, always the question, the ideology of what would the world governments think if DMC was real, doesn't fucking work. It never works. Every single time they try and do it. The dude from fucking DMC Devil May Cry, Adi Shankar. Notice how it's boring as hell and it never works? This is simply because of the fact that realistically, it doesn't matter. The whole idea of the world caring about Dante and demons, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter because it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it never will work. It makes it way too damn complex and just makes it way too fucking crazy. It takes away a lot of the simplicity of what makes DMC so good. Obviously, DMC is a video game. You don't have time for these kinds of things because you have to worry about styling and profiling on these motherfuckers like you're Ric Flair.
I don't want you back.
Obviously, since dudes are no longer playing a video game, and since a lot of DMC fans are statistically autistic and gay, they're now going to criticize every single plot hole that this series has to offer. And boy oh boy, this fucking series has the most plot holes I have ever seen in my human life. Seriously, have a fucking baby every time you spot a plot hole in a given DMC storyline. Why did Virgil split into a monster and Andy Black from Blackville Brides? We don't know. Who is Nero's mother? We don't know. The problem with introducing outside forces like the United States and citizens into Dante and Virgil's bubble is that it really feels alien. It feels like shit. This is because with the way things are, there is no real world in the DMC universe, if you ask me. There is no government, there is no nothing, because it would make no sense. DMC just doesn't work with that kind of thing. You could try to make it work. Hell, you can be a visionary like Adi Shankar, but rarely do you see people try doing shit like that. This is like, for example, if you took Michael Myers and then all of a sudden someone called the military in to kill Michael Myers, and then you start learning, oh, Michael Myers actually has stem cells in his body where he regens and he gets up from the ground. You, like, the mysticality, the destrucity would be lost. The simplicity of the storyline is now gone. That's not even getting into shit like Lady's backstory, the Easter Bunny. Oh my god, dude, what the fuck is going on here? Look, I think what this show does is ultimately not bad. It's not even dog shit. But it is just really fucked up. Like, it's gonna be hard to explain, but I feel fiddled with. My characters that I love and I go to when I need help, they're being fiddled with. This series is being controlled by an evil 40-year-old fuck. And I don't like that. Look, here's what I think DMC should be about. At its core, fundamentally, it should just be about two brothers fighting. That is what it's always been about. And whenever it doesn't involve that, notice how it is complete fucking ass. It should not be about things like the government taking over hell. Like, who cares about any of this shit, bro? I just want to see these two boys fight. And that's all it needs to be. It is so crazy to me how Capcom just keeps giving this series L after L by allowing dudes like this to fucking take the show and just make it whatever they want. Excuse me, take the series and do whatever the fuck they want with it. It is absolutely crazy to me how no matter how many dudes try to come in and rewrite the story, it is crazy how there are still, to this fucking day, only 4 guys who know what DMC is. That is Hideki Kamiya, Noboru Sugimura, rest in peace the GOAT, Hideki Itsuno, and Bingo Morihashi. They, I feel like, have somewhat of a grasp on DMC, although it's questionable how much Itsuno has a grasp on this series. Mr. We didn't know what to do with this character. But besides that, at the end of the day, it is crazy how my 4 GOATs are the only people that know and truly feel what DMC is. That's just my opinion. Look, Adi Shankar, fucking asshole, terrible human being. But I will say this, the only positive thing I can say is he is 100% a fan of DMC. He understands the aesthetic, he understands the assignment, he knows everything people want from DMC, and I gotta give him credit for that. But holy fuck, this could not have been more of a disaster than I expected it to be. Jesus Christ. I also understand that at the same time, I am nostalgic for DMC. I come from a different place, from a different time when DMC 5 Virgil Edition came out. I have a nostalgia for things. Anything different that I look at will look like shit. Hell, Castlevania fans must have felt the same fucking way when they saw these guys like Trevor and Sypha cursing. I don't care. But again, that's just because I'm not a fan. So maybe if I had never played DMC and I saw this for the first time, I probably would have appreciated it way more. But if you ask me, it should not have had this 40-year-old fuck writing and directing this shit. But the ironic part about all this, I haven't even seen the show. Also, can we talk about this motherfucker Weenop hates Adi Shankar. I have seen things that are not allowed to be spoken about Adi Shankar. And he he fucking skipped college to watch the entire show day one. I didn't even watch this shit and I was talking about Shankar and how good I thought he was. He fucking paid to go to school and he skipped that shit to watch Kino. And I'm the Shankar Glazer. Fuck this dude, man. We gonna have to kill Weenop. Wow, what horrible textures. You know, what the fuck? You know what's strange about this game? We went from a pretty stretched out, far away camera in the first few levels to a fucking Black Ops 2 PS3 zoomed in ass camera. I feel like I'm gonna throw up, dude. Solid IHOP moment. Bro, can we talk about anything else except DMC2? I want to do that right quick. What the fuck is IHOP anymore, man? What the fuck happened, bruh? I got my parents telling me they're gonna destroy my technology if I don't go to IHOP with them at like 8 a.m. And I know this shit is gonna be nuclear ass, bro. And oh, sure enough, 3 hours later after we leave IHOP, someone throws up. Hours later. Fucking, isn't that crazy? Even dudes who are nostalgic for IHOP still get disappointed by it. That shit's fucking embarrassing. That's how you know you need to fucking get out a gun and fucking shoot. But speaking of big burgers, this is where we get the rocket launcher. Did you know that this is the first appearance of a rocket launcher in DMC? And it's in this fuck ass game, bro. I know you're like, well wait, there's a rocket in DMC 1. That's the grenade launcher, you fucking... Oh, you're an old man! And I'm not. So, for reasons unknown, we're gonna call this rocket launcher Fuck Fear. This is a setup for DMC 5 where I'm gonna call the other rocket Dante gets in Mission 10 Drink Beer. Fuck Fear is a very slow machine-operated weapon, but it does massive damage, so it is therefore very good. It absolutely destroys these 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖊𝖆𝖐s and goatlings. Very grand. Going through the evil fuck door, we gotta kill some more 𝕱𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆 rolls right off the tongue. They seem to give you some sort of affliction, but God knows I strive to not give a fuck. I'm fat as fuck and gay. And awesome. Which gets me to the following room. We gotta hit Walt Disney, and it immediately starts spinning to open a gateway to God's kingdom. Oh, what the hell is even happening? I smoked a blunt laced with I'm so mad. 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 Oh great, a maze. It would be a damn shame if I downloaded a secret cheat code to infinitely jump. Oh, oh, hey baby, Yes, a secret. Man, do you guys fucking remember when fucking secret fucking missions had you doing these fucking Olympic trials to have you getting those blue meth crystals? Good fucking times. Shame that now they have you killing yellow primates with devil trigger. Ain't that a damn bitch? Luckily, God ends up granting me my wish though, and introduces me to these Matryoshka dogs. Dogs. Matryoshka thongs. Now, let me explain. In order to get the heart of urine, you need to go up to these Ascension Matryoshka dolls. This is no joke. The hardest puzzle in the game. For any other reason besides it's the hardest by default. Basically, you gotta equally distribute the same amount of damage to each of these slowly over I'm having a fucking aneurysm, dude. You have to slowly distribute the same amount of damage each time, also you can destroy them at the same exact time. I think that makes sense. I hope it did. Now, you might be asking me, Rickert, what's the heart of urine? Urine dudes. Gotcha. Oh shit. Here he is, 𝕯𝖊𝖘𝖙𝖎𝖌. Finally, I get to face him. Yeah. Now, again, instant cutscene from hell. No Dante to be found. No nothing. Some dark motherfucker in Studio One decided that Dante should not be a wisecrack whatsoever. The fuck is wrong with you, you little nonce? Take away some of the cringe and confidence from this dude, and what does he have left, buddy? It's like if you went and took Fuda porn away from Weenop. He would have nothing left. Anyway, 𝕯𝖊𝖘𝖙 is what happens when you take poop out of the toilet and raise it up to your ear expecting it to start listening to you. Fucking disastrous dark moment. This motherfucker has it all. Aura, and some more aura. And it's just like a wet fart of a boss. It's just so ridiculous. Like, it just doesn't do it for me. You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this may in fact be the first boss that's actually limited by the system of this game's mechanics, is what I would say if it wasn't for this camera. What happened here, man? Holy shit, this camera sucks. What happened? What the fuck happened here? Who took the camera? Who took the camera, bro? I swear to God, never in my life. I can't get me off the left of the screen, man. I was trying to fight the boss. I was trying to be positive. This camera happens. Ah! Yeah. Any good things I had to say, gone. Goodbye. Poo Poo Man rating, 2 out of 10.
Mission 12 starts us off with this. What am I looking at? Look, how long did it make this room? Whose skulls are those? Why is Dante even here? Why am I here? What is this room used for? I know I've been exaggerating a little bit, but this is the one moment in my entire playthrough when I was just like speechless in mind. Like, oh my god. Just seeing this camera work the way that it does make you as angry as I am. Because it really should. I've been dealing with it all game. All fucking game. I don't know. I'm just so checked out at this point. Half of it is just this camera. I do not know how they made it past playtesting with this kind of shit going on. But it seems to me like this game was made by aliens. Anyway, after defeating Sargasso. Whatever the fuck that was. We meet Lucia again.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Yes. Now we can stop Arius's ambition.
Whatever.
But actually, I do not deserve this power. Bring this to Mathieu for me. Please. I've got something that I need to take care of.
Why? What? Stop! Why does Dante just look at the fucking camera like that? Like I did something wrong. All I did was launch the fucking game, dog. Is that... Don't answer that. No, I'm not gonna finish that question. My fault. Introducing Plutonian, everyone. Just a guy with chains. This is a boss that belongs in Zelda, if anything. I find avoiding the laser beams to be more challenging than actually fighting the boss itself. Like, that clearly should have hit me there, but I framed it through like it was nothing. It's continuing the trend of janky bosses, but not in the fun kind of way. I don't know. Waste your time ass boss fight. I just want to move on, honestly. Oh yeah, this is the part of the game where I remember that Devil Trigger with the damage upgrade just wins you the game, no matter what. So I really hope you collected that upgrade, because it makes trudging through this a lot easier. To those who haven't, good luck. You even decide to play this godforsaken game. But to each their own. Plutonian, everyone.
That man is going to bring me back shortly. You will live to see that.
That's just a piece of crap. Here's another 3 for you. Crap like that doesn't interest me. But your smokes will.
Mission 13 is our fated duel with the main antagonist of DMC2, 𝕱𝖊𝖊𝖆. This weird-ass Heihachi-looking guy is the CEO of Ouroboros, and is currently trying to reawaken Argosax, a demon lord literally rivaling Mundus, or immortality, or I don't know, something. I will start by shamelessly admitting, 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆 is cool as fuck. He'll just shrug off Dante's attacks while chuffing back a fat-ass stogie, completely unfazed. Not to mention his design is honestly just kind of awesome. The 3-piece suit, the fur cape, the big fuck-off revolver being the cherry on top. Also, a face-off in a high-rise penthouse office? Take my fucking money, bro. This shit is tight. If 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆 isn't just sitting down and aura farming the whole fight, he's got these sorcery attacks and he'll occasionally summon demons. I think Mundus works better, narratively speaking, as a DMC antagonist simply because he's basically like Ultra Satan and has personal history with Sparta and all that. But 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆 is just so fucking honest with the evil sorcerer businessman angle, I can't help but find it extremely entertaining. Again, like many things in this game, it's an archetype that the next game did better with Arkham, being immortal pursuing ultimate otherworldly power, but we'll save that conversation for the DMC3 video. I wish there was more to this fight, I really do. On the bright side, there is no fucking shortage of fights against this guy in this video game. This is merely one of like the 4 times you'll be fighting him, but this and the next encounter with 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆 are the real standouts compared to his later battles. I do have a lot more I want to say about this guy, but this boss is arguably one of the shortest fights in the game, so hopefully the other brain hosts will carry on in my stead when they've got to deal with him.
I cannot transcend all living things.
Too easy.
You cannot win. Someone is holding you back.
What fucking kind of game is this?
This is DMC too.
4 juicy burgers of ambition will open the door. Oh shit. Really? We're almost there. Just 3 more. Just 3 more. Brontomancer, huh? You know, I enjoy the creativity of these guys over at Capcom Studio One. Just attach a name onto a word. These gorillas are sitting in a dirt house. Like, alright, we need to put a word in front of Mancer. Fucking genius. And don't fucking say Brontomancer is a real thing. You went on Google to comment that under this video, you motherfucker. I know you. Brontomancer isn't a real word. Anyway, so this is the point in DMC2 where we just start getting to the point of reusing assets. You know what just hit me? Just explode my huge wet ass, dude. Every DMC game is heavy on reusing assets, but I never get tired of it in DMC 1, 3, or 5. Contrarian ass dudes who will defend it till Kingdom Come will tell you that they hate the critically acclaimed DMC 5. But I know they love it. Only DMC 5 players who have beaten the game 75 times will tell you it sucks. Calm down, buddy. You love DMC 5. You love DMC 5. You love DMC 5. But yeah, this is just shameless. Fucking hello HR ass game. Anyway, we gotta retread our way through level 1 and kill these fuck ass demons, whose health scales to the amount of liters equal to how much Pawtucket Patriot Ale I gotta drink to get me through this damn video. So about 1 can. This is where the names get even crazier, by the way, because we gotta fight we gotta fight 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖆 and the Abyss Goat. And they go ahead and place about 50 of these motherfuckers in the level, which, you know, I just appreciate very much. You know what really fucking pisses me off about this level is the color design. This is 100% some shit I would do if I was a conceptual artist for a game. Like, oh, we had a yellow level, a red level. Oh, now we gotta have a purple level. This is so fucking stupid, man. Anyway, we have to go around and kill people. We have to kill so many people that we have to obtain the wolf bow. I'm not even joking when I tell you that you literally have to go the entirety around the level in a circle. You have to go around the level and kill things and then zoom around back to the first part just to obtain the wolf bow from 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖌. Like, what the fuck is this game anymore? You know, at least we had some level design and that's gone. We turned this damn thing purple. But it's okay. I'm having fun. Oh, wow. Here we go. Alright, so not only did we reuse the level design, but now we gotta reuse the fucking boss from 𝕯𝖊𝖊𝖆𝖆, Castrol GTX, and Slim Jim Presents Devil May Cry 1. It's not even the same damn 𝕯𝖊𝖆𝖆s and Takis Present Devil May Cry 1 boss fight either, because you can't even penetrate him unlike last time. That's right. Unlike DMC1, when you go inside of him, it doesn't even do double damage. And believe me, I tried. I tried my hardest to not have this be a reality. But you literally cannot do it. I don't even understand how this is a thing. How can you take design docs and still not recreate the GIF method? I have seen Gmod Workshop ports with more effort than this shit. Fucking, I'm not even gonna talk about Phantom. I need to go eat some orange chocolate Milano cookies, because I've literally talked about Phantom like 5 fucking times. So go to Gumbly, please.
This mission sucks.
Just my luck. Longest mission in the game by a hefty margin. Dante's back at 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆's tower, and he's here to give him a piece of his mind. We're reaching the endgame at this point for Dante's side of the story, and as is tradition, the whole level's gonna start shifting into a hellish reality. But we start off in a normal enough skyscraper. I'm not done glazing DMC2's art direction anytime soon. Something that I honestly really love about this level is that it's so visually distinct from not only the rest of the game, but by and large the whole series. DMC has experimented with a ton of different aesthetics over all 6 games, including DMC Devil May Cry. You can see more anime stylization with 3 and 4, more hardcore realistic with 5, but DMC2's Mission 16, and really the whole downtown area by itself, is uniquely Art Deco coded, and it works weirdly well in a way I genuinely appreciate. It's still dark and moody, but is totally visually recontextualized to suit DMC2's more urban/industrial locations, especially so considering we're approaching our next duel with 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆s. So the entire building reeks of luxury and opulence befitting a wealthy businessman who also happens to double as an evil wizard of the occult arts. Anyways, we gotta run our happy ass up to the top floor, but we've also got a fuck ton of obstacles in our way, like the orb room. If Dante happens to so much as look in the direction of one of these, he gets sent to the fucking snot dimension. I figured flying with DT would be the most effective way to circumvent this, but I guess they also had the budget to plan ahead for that too, so I guess I'm the dumbass. We get this thing. I don't know what it does, but shiny things are usually important, so we're gonna hold on to it. Well, this isn't the right way. This entire tower mission is weirdly sprawling and almost labyrinthian, which makes me realize the last few Dante missions are a bit more open-ended than the rest of the game. Most of it has been pretty linear up until now, and it's something I miss from DMC1 to be honest. Our first taste of the corrupted section of the tower leads us to another fight with this guy. Bolvik is cool, but not cool enough to fight 2 times. Okay, maybe he is. I'm not gonna lie, I am biased towards skeleton enemies. I'll admit it. Bolvik is maybe the closest thing we get to a rival type character in this game, a la 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖆 from the first game, in the sense that we've been dealing with the guy since we stepped foot downtown, fighting his dogs first, then the man himself. Really, he just reminds me of 𝕱𝖆𝖆𝖆𝖆 under the basis of 2 dudes with big ass blades just going at it relentlessly. Nothing on God's green earth beats a classic Shakashuri slowdown between two sloppy Joes just wanting to duke it out. Frecky and Gary are here, sadly, and make this fight really annoying. Aside from my skeleton bias, I do genuinely think 𝕯𝖊𝖘 is one of the cooler bosses to come out of this game, and wouldn't entirely be opposed to seeing some kind of callback to him in future DMC media, but alas, he'll remain confined to this game for the foreseeable future. Even the devs recognize that this guy was kind of wasted potential, considering he canonically went toe-to-toe with Sparta at one point. Hail and farewell, my skeleton friend. You would have made an excellent soup. So that's 𝕯𝖊𝖘 out of the way, but we're only like 25% of the way through the mission, so what's next? Well, now we just kind of wander around until shit starts making sense again, and in the meantime I've come to realize the SMGs are probably my favorite weapon in the whole game. If you're gonna complain that all this game does is make you shoot with guns, might as well use the automatic ones instead of ebony and ivory that make you manually tap square to shoot as fast as possible. I'm a bit disappointed you can't twosome time with the SMGs, but on the bright side we certainly can with the shotgun, having ebony in Dante's offhand. I'm pretty sure this is the only DMC game where you can do this, and it's crazy with a capital C. Wait. Where the fuck do I go? This whole section really does remind me of the Demon World level from DMC 1. Lots of shit going on visually and it's easy to get lost. It's a good excuse to go out and explore. You can run into this room with the Goat Demon Horde and get the last DT upgrade of the game. The Frost Heart. We can do frost damage now. I really don't find it to be all that useful. Honestly, fire beats out both frost and electricity simply because it damn near infinitely stun locks enemies. Frost doesn't seem to do much of anything, to be honest. After 46 more years of wandering the torture labyrinth, we find the last elevator. And might I add, these elevator fights are so damn cool. The fixed camera and the dynamic background make these a nice little intermission between areas. It's sick. Finally, we're back at the top suite, where okay, the 𝕯𝖊𝖆𝖆. 𝕯𝖊𝖆𝖆. This is a weird boss, dude. So the basic gimmick, from what I can gather, is that this boss has 3 heads, hence the name, that will periodically combine into one, but when they're unfused, only one takes damage. That's the one you gotta shoot with guns, of course. It's an interesting design choice, and I like that we're fighting a tri-elemental boss after acquiring all 3 elements at our disposal, but it would be a lot better if it wasn't a shooting gallery. Maybe the weirdest fact about this fight is the namesake means a lot more than just 3 heads. At first I assumed this was another reference to Hermetic Alchemy, much like many things in the first game, but breaking down the name into its respective parts gets you 𝕯𝖊𝖆𝖆, as in the 3 wise men who visited Jesus after his birth. They're meant to quite literally be corrupted versions of them. As far as I know, this is the only instance of DMC ever drawing directly from Christianity for one of its enemy designs. Pause, sorry. Hi, this is editing Weenop, just here for some clarification. I actually meant this is the only instance of DMC using biblical figures as an enemy or a boss. It has gone to use shit from the Bible down the line with Burial and the Fallen in later games. I just want to clarify that. And it's kind of insane. It does remind me of the original concept for God of War 3, where Kratos was going to finish off the Greek pantheon, but then he was going to kill Norse gods, Egyptian, and even Hindu gods were going to be thrown in there. Then the game would end with the birth of Christ and Kratos becoming one of the 3 wise men himself. Now, I don't know about you, but I would pay hundreds to ever be able to see this version of God of War 3, but we're getting off topic. Majin Devil Trigger kind of makes this a breeze, so I'd say let them bully Dante until you can pull it off and end the fight as soon as possible. Hell of a way to end a mission.
Alright, we are almost done. Mission 17. This is it. This is the final encounter with 𝕱𝖊𝖆. After 3 hours of antagonizing Dante with various demons, we can finally end this once and for all. This is it. This is undoubtedly it. This is undoubtedly the final time we're gonna deal with this man and then go and fucking try to kill some 17-year-old boy. I don't even know what happens in SMT Nocturne, but this is it. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. It's gonna be the deepest, darkest thing in this game. It's gonna be the toughest task ever. Let's do it.
Dinner.
Yeah. Here's your crown.
Bitch, we made it. Mission 18. It is fucking time. It is time. Mission 18 begins with a dramatic cutscene. Oh, it just destroys my heart. It starts out with Dante and Lucia. Basically, wait. Who is it? Oh, yeah, okay. Basically, Lucia has a big moment. She left the stove on. Aww. She learns that 𝕱𝖊𝖆 is her father, and she feels like she has to finish what he started by killing her. Yeah, sure, buddy. So we're gonna call it. Oh, looks like I win. Nope. See ya. Again, I cannot stress this enough. This is the final mission of the Dante disc. And fucking 15-second cutscene. Boom! The infested despair. This is why in so many cartoons you always see the protagonist going, "Oh man, this is the evil scientist plan. We gotta stop it." You need context. Because let me tell you, there is no force in this world that could make me tell you what the fuck is going on. Who created this thing? Who invented it? Who came up with it? Who conceived it? There's nothing. Was it 𝕱𝖊𝖆? Was it his brother, Arius? I have no idea. This is DMC2. We're not exactly playing a game. And much like the game itself, the despair is what it is. A congealed mess of slop. Otherwise known as Argo-Sax the Chaos. The amalgamation of all the different bosses you have faced throughout DMC2. Such as Skinny Joe, Clumsy Nathan, Fetid Frankie, and Intelligent Ichabod, and man. Wait a minute. Is that Griffin? What the fuck? What? Alright, cool. Yeah, where to begin? This boss sucks. Definitely one of the worst bosses in the game. These motherfuckers do nothing but spam their favorite projectile at you. And the awesome part is, all of them have different hitboxes, which means that every single projectile has its own unique hitbox, which you cannot dodge, because the hitbox is also fucking... they mix in with each other. You can't dodge them. You can't jump over some of them. You can't dodge to the left. Can't dodge to the right. This game says fuck you. But the thing is, plenty of bosses have shit like that. Usually, it's in a fucking pattern though. Oh, but that isn't here in this game, is it? These creatures literally spam one given projectile until they die. I guess the only one that doesn't do this is 𝕯𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖆, but no one cares about this guy. Who are you, bitch? I don't even know who you are. So yeah, that's really it. I really have nothing to say about the infested despair here. Like, really, you just go around shooting them with guns. And swiping your sword! Yes! Yeah! And then, after you destroy the chaos, out he comes. The Gmod texture. The despair embodied. Oh yeah. The creature spawns out of the carcass until this lady forms into a man. This game is woke. Alright, so here it is. The despair. The thing about this Voss is that it's actually pretty good, albeit by default. We went from playing toys to playtime, but the problem with this boss being good is that nobody gives a flying fuck. Studies show that only 2% of humanity has ever made it to the Despair Embodied's part in Dante Must Die mode. So unfortunately, nobody stuck around for this boss. Nobody gets to recognize how good this shit is. And you know what, man? You know what? I'm tired of using the word boss for this video. So instead, we're going to refer to this thing as Me Tell You Something from now on. For the most part, this Me Tell You Something is fundamentally sound. It has attacks, projectiles, and even has DT. But in all honesty, it's still pretty bland. Remember, we went from bad to average. My issues with this Me Tell You Something are pretty damn simple. The arena is pretty plain, and as great as it schmoves, it also decides to spam the fuck out of them. Literally, you get zero breathing room with this Me Tell You Something. But I kinda like that. I can finally unleash 10% of my power. Oh, you think I died? Nope. Then, after we beat the spare and bodied, the fucking 𝕯𝖊𝖆𝖌 video game times 10, we're gonna have to shove this video game up your ass. Get ready. Fucking, man, let me tell you something right quick. I'm fucking done with this shit. I never wanted to do DMC2. I think the joke of that DMC2 is bad has been fucking beaten more times than an Alabama stepmom. Because no matter what you say or do about DMC2, like, oh, this game is secretly good, it's just not. It's a plain fact that you can't change. It's like trying to call a brick wall blue. Like, it's just not going to fucking happen. You can't convince people this wall is now blue. It's not, buddy. You're feeding me bullshit from an anus. I am glad that we have a Patreon now, because I can finally get paid to actually talk about this game. Fucking holy shit, someone get out a knife and stab me 12 times in the chest. Somebody tell me my life is over. Holy fuck, this game still sucks. There is nobody on this earth that can convince me this bullshit is fucking awesome. Do you realize how many shitty ass games out there can beat this game in a fight in the playground? This game could be given a toy and couldn't play with it. Fuck DMC2. Fuck anyone who likes this game. I'm going to rob you and take your Gogeta toy. I don't even know why the fuck we made a video on this game. I was hoping in all honesty that we would skip this game out of sheer prayer with my emo dollar. I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but it did. It did because of one man, Weenop. This motherfucker thought it would be okay if I did this game. He fed me lies and deceit. He would tell me, dude, the fans, they want you. God, the brainers want you bad. And this motherfucker knew. He knew I wouldn't do it. So he got Gumbly to kidnap me. And he kidnapped me and made me do this video. The fucking benevolent king Weenop thinks I will do his dirty work for him. Let me tell you guys something you might not know. I'm gonna reveal a dark truth to you right now. You remember the boss ranking? The critically acclaimed boss ranking, if you can call it that. This motherfucker, Weenop, recorded all of the DMC2 footage. And when it came time to talk about it, he wasn't there. Oh, dude, I'm at high school. That's right. Weenop would announce with his serpent tongue that he wasn't going to do any of DMC2. He made me voice over the entire fucking thing. I didn't even record any of that. I don't know any of the damn bosses. I had to make this shit up for bosses like the plutonium, the freak fish, Bulwark. It wasn't even my footage. And he didn't even have the audacity, the courtesy to write any notes. He didn't do anything. That's right. All of that was complete nonsense. Now you know. It was all fake, guys. None of that is from anything that I did. I didn't record any of DMC2. I had to simply do it all in about one day, because that video took 4 weeks to make. Holy shit. But now that I have played this game, it doesn't make me feel any better. I felt happiness when I did the boss ranking. I used to be an innocent boy when I had to grift everyone. Now, 5 years later, I've turned into a fucked up, freaky clown. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. DMC2 has finished me. I'm done. Fuck Weenop. Fuck Gumbly. Fuck the Philly Fanatic. Fuck 12. Fuck fear. Drink beer. God damn it.
Well, game's not over just yet. We've got 13 more missions to go. Can you fucking believe that? You didn't think we'd forget about Lucia now, do you? DMC2 is a first for the series in the sense that we now get multiple playable characters aside from our main man Dante. Lucia is playable off the bat, but really I think she's best saved for after Dante's campaign. A lot of her missions are pretty derivative, and overall, I mean, this series wouldn't handle multiple playable characters well until literally DMC5. So I'm not gonna gripe about how some of these are just recycled from Dante's disc. DMC4 is kind of a bigger offender here in that department, let's be honest. I think the biggest criticism here is that Lucia doesn't really play much different from Dante. Honestly, she plays like a far weaker version of the guy, which is unfortunate. I think Lucia looks awesome, and her not getting the most out of her gameplay is honestly wasted potential, but then again, what isn't in DMC2? Instead of guns, she throws darts. Instead of a sword, she has 2 shorter blades. Instead of DT, well, no, she does have DT, so that's a plus. Now, there is a third playable character in DMC2, that being Trish, who you can unlock by beating the game on hard, or if you value your time on this earth, also unlock through a cheat code on the main menu. Now, Trish is kind of garbage. All she's got is Devil Sword Sparta, Lucent Umbra, and you can use Nightmare Underwater, I guess. Her DT is the most underwhelming thing I've ever seen, and she has 2 attacks ever. It's like a super watered down Dante, but the only saving grace is that her combo inputs are exactly like DMC1, where you can combo through spacing attacks, unlike DMC2 with its weird directional inputs. She's a nice throwback, but that's about it. It's just a novelty, or more of an apology put in by the devs. DMC would later go on to incorporate alternative characters better, especially in the next game, which I won't discuss here so we can discuss it there. And even Trish herself would get a proper moveset in DMC4 Special Edition, though proper is a stretch. Even there, it's still pretty derivative of Dante's moveset. If anything, this kind of reminds me of that one Ghost Rider DMC clone where you can unlock Blade as a playable character, and it's actually the coolest fucking shit ever. It's more fun than playing Ghost Rider himself. Why we haven't gotten a DMC-esque Blade action game in the year 2025 is a question only God can answer at this point. What the fuck have we been collectively doing since 2006, and why has it not been spent making this game? At least we have the Ghost Rider game itself to fall back on. A strange but frankly awesome title that featured a must-style mode, which wouldn't be seen in DMC until the reboot, as well as motorcycle sections, which were supposed to be in DMC2, but oh, they didn't make it in time! Anyways, Lucia is pretty unremarkable so far, and we're already back to the start of Dante's section. I don't know. Here's the 12 more missions of this shit.
Disc 2, everyone. Yay! Am I gonna have a more enjoyable time playing Lucia more than Dante? Shit, maybe. Can't be that hard to improve on poop shit. And again, I forget where I am. Consult your goat. After dispatching the twin goatlings, you get the ability to fly. Because she can do that. For some reason. Okay, admittedly, I do like Lucia's battle music. Maybe that's unpopular, but it really sounds like Ridge Racer to me, so it gets a plus for what that's worth. Going off of first impressions, I don't know. I kind of like playing her more than Dante so far, because instead of relying on Ebony and Ivory for the entire friggin' game, you rely on the dual blades. She's a very spammy character, and this game's balance seems to heavily favor spammy shit, along with the throwing knives and the quick successive attacks of the blades and all that. This game feels like it was made more for Lucia than it was Dante, which is really just off-putting, to say the least. There's really not much more to go off this mission. Instead, you fight Plutonian. Again, I don't know why. but you do. There's Lucia this time. I'm really fucking tired. Can you tell? I don't know, this is just not enjoyable. Anyway, that's tartar sauce dispatched and done for. Let's leap our faith out of the way into the next mission, I guess.
I really don't know how much more of this I can take. I was giving this game a pretty fair chance at the start, and it does some cool things, but man, I just don't really know anymore. This Lucia mission intersects with this cottage explosion bullshit that happened way early on in Dante's campaign. She's collecting all the artifacts needed for Argosax's summoning, and apparently the next one is in another repeated Dante mission. Oh. Well, at least the view to downtown is really cool. It's a straight rehash of Mission 2 and 3 of Dante's Disc, so there isn't anything new to talk about. I mean, I guess we can talk about Lucia. She's cool, I suppose. One of DMC2's strong suits would be its character design. Dante's fit is honestly super underrated, and Lucia is no exception. The blazing red hair contrasts nicely with her white cloak, and she's always reminded me of the protagonist from Heavenly Sword, which is funny considering that game was made by Ninja Theory, who would go on to almost kill this franchise. Honestly, it's just the hair that seems similar, otherwise these two are nothing alike. Actually, now that I look at Lucia's face, she kind of has almost like a 𝕯𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖆 thing going on. I might just be tripping balls, but anyone else kind of think she looks a little bit like Jill Valentine from the RE1 remake? Or at least something vaguely similar. Admittedly, the dual playthrough thing this game has, it kind of does feel like it was ripped straight out of classic RE2's A and B scenarios, which wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that somehow influenced the decision to have two campaigns in this game. Well, we're back to this harbor, which can only mean one thing. We're probably gonna have to fight Joe Catgolem. Yep, we're fighting Joe Catgolem again. You can sidetrack over here. I don't know, dude. We fought this boss already. What are we doing here? Whatever. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just kind of running out of things to say at this point. You guys are probably tired of this video. Alright, that's way too negative. You can run back over here to this tower for one of Lucia's DT upgrades, but you're better off just going in and getting it over with. We fought Joe Catgolem already. Here's Joe Catgolem again.
Mission 4. Urangurera. They're making you play the fucking game again. Is that obvious enough? It's not different. They're making you play through the same settings, but as Lucia. You're fighting the same bosses, you're doing different moves. This is the equivalent of you stubbing your toe, and the developers are telling you to stub the other one. Oh, just in case you thought we were done, this mission has not only one reuse boss, but a second one, none other being the Infested. Tank. Wow. Another time where I was really speechless in my mind. It's just... I don't know why I thought Lucia was gonna be any better. Wow. Let's just fucking go to the next mission. There's nothing here.
Man, there's still like 8 missions? What? How are we not done with this game? I'm starting to think Hapygourious was right. So at this rate, what's left to say about this game anymore? We still got runtime left here somehow, so the rest of this is going to be less focused on the game at hand, and more so the aftermath. We already ran through this lab as Dante, so it's another straight rehash. I mean, we get cranky bombs here in the plane. You guys remember the cranky bomb? The cranky bomb from DMC2. Before we talk about how this series even continued after this game, I do want to briefly talk about the art direction one last time since we're on this mission again. Drafts and concept art always seem to be way cooler than whatever actually ends up in a given video game, and though DMC2 is a stellar example of a game that did not translate well at all from concept to release, this is a rare example of a lot of concepts staying pretty true to the art in the actual product. The most in the way of unused enemies was like this Giga Rapist wielding this Doom Eternal ass Crucible sword that was apparently going to be some kind of rival to Dante. If I had to guess, this guy probably got canned and Volver took his place. Now obviously this has more to do with the fact that these artists didn't have time to produce a wide variety of drafts, but the point still stands that a lot of these enemy and level designs look solid both in the art and in the game. Levels especially. Like, these are pretty realized. Granted, there is still quite a bit of devastating aura loss on some of these, but god damn, if only this game was given the time it needed to be polished. These drafts for the town are dripping with atmosphere, and thankfully I do think DMC3 did manage to capitalize on some of these gothic ideas to a degree with the 𝕯𝖏𝖏𝖏𝖏𝖏, but that's really just the tip of the iceberg concerning how much DMC2 leans into directions other than gothic at times. Like the Art Deco styles incorporated into 𝕱𝖊𝖊𝖆𝖆 tower that I mentioned earlier. DMC2 mixes industrial and ancient styles in there too, and it kinda works to a degree. Most of the ancient shit is here on Lucia's disc, and I feel like it clashes just a little too much with the rest of the game. Originally, it seems like there was going to be far more industrial undercurrent in the main city sections, to the point where some of the pieces look like they were ripped straight out of the fucking Half-Life 2 beta. But you could probably say that about any concept for a gloomy city with a big-ass tower dominating the center. Anyways, I don't really know what's happening in this game right now, but Lucia and 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆 are about to meet face to face. As for what happens next, I'll have to pass it off to Gumbly.
Well, it appears that the defect is back.
Defect?
You are my creation.
Liar! Mathieu is my mother.
She merely found you when you were about to be disposed of, and then raised you as a soldier. Is that what you consider to be a mother?
No! I don't believe you.
Look. You have the mark on your shoulder. Proof that you're a mannequin. Kai. That is your real name. Now, give me the arcanas. With them, my power will be complete, and I will become like the immortal Argosax. I will achieve absolute wisdom and transcend all.
You know, it was at this point of the game where I was genuinely wondering, maybe it'll finally get better. Maybe I'll get some original stuff for Lucia. Which, after this, to be fair, I do. But I kind of came too late, because immediately after the cutscene, where it reveals Lucia's true origins, you know, something new for the playthrough, they bring this guy back. Nocturne. This boss fight single-handedly highlights everything wrong with this video game. Just the ranged meta, the horrendous camera, the bloated HP pools, the ads in the arena being more fucking annoying than the boss itself. Admittedly, that last part is more exclusive to Nocturne, but Christ on a Christmas tree, were you guys asleep playing through this for the first time? Just playtesting there. Someone among you said, yeah, this is good, let's ship it. I don't know, just seeing this makes me want to slime the fuck out of Connor for sticking me with the entire second disc. I get so worked up looking at this piece of shit that I just name-dropped one of the hosts. I don't know if I'm gonna cut it out. I probably should, but you, the audience, need to hear my genuine reaction to something like this. I think I owe you that much. It's unbelievable. I can't. There's no more words. I don't even want to fucking edit the rest of this. I don't know what Weenop's gonna do on this part. I don't know how he's gonna end it. Fuck me. Atlantis. Next mission.
This game's starting to make me sad. I think it's starting to suck. Let this mission be the reason we never see another water section in a DMC game ever again. I personally don't think water sections belong in video games, period. Ever. I have made the staggering plot... What the fuck was that noise? It was like a clown or something. What the fuck? Alright, now I'm like fucking paranoid. I'm seeing like creatures out the corner of my eye. I have made the staggering proclamation on this channel that I am not a fan of nautical settings in video games. And this partially extends to water levels as well. I've been fair and cordial with this game for the most part, but this is fucking inexcusable. You don't really even do anything in this mission. Lucia can get the Aqua Heart, which doesn't make this level any less horrid to trudge through, as well as an additional weapon. Yeah, dude, the fucking, yeah, fuck yeah, bro. Take my fucking money. Just fucking rip my dick off. Staple it to the fucking wall. Who cares? So we're not gonna, the Claymore. We're gonna call it the Claymore. This level really does get to a point. Hey, are we playing Devil May Cry anymore? Hello? I know the Diesel costume doesn't help much either, but still, what is this? Crawling through this flooded ancient ruin is something that's more suited to Tomb Raider than DMC, and I honestly don't think archaic ruins fit this series vibe whatsoever. Like, I'll give the DMC 1 water section some credit, at least they fit the vibe of the rest of the game, but this shit is so ham-fisted into this game, I could hear it oinking from a mile away. This is probably DMC 2's lowest point, and it hits rock bottom right here. The first, only, and last underwater fight in the entire DMC series. This footage speaks for itself. We're not even gonna talk about this. Instead, I'll be briefly discussing how this game ended up. Instead, I'll be briefly discussing how this game ended up molding the future DMC titles moving forward. By this point, it's clear that DMC 2 is bad. It's got some good ideas here and there, but by and large, it's not executed very well. Almost every poor soul roped into this project saw that it was doomed from the start, and after the dust had settled, Itsuno didn't want this to be his lasting legacy. Oh, the guy never even wanted to make DMC games, but being a passionate creative, he knew he had to set things right. A lot of the staff that would eventually go on to make DMC 3 cut their teeth here in the second game's development, and there was an overwhelming sense of duty amongst the team moving forward into the next project to do it right this time. Itsuno was determined to make the third game a project he was satisfied with, and then pass the torch on to someone else for the fourth game, which did not end up happening. Regardless, Itsuno had gone as far as staking his Capcom career on DMC 3's success, stating that if this game bombed too, it's wraps. He's just gonna quit on the spot. DMC 2's many failures laid the groundwork for some of DMC 3's best features, and overall I don't want to say too much here because I said it earlier, a DMC 3 video is due sometime down the line. For now, we're just gonna finish off the mutated freak fish and call it a day.
Mission 8. Puzzles, parkour, plutonium. You know what? I'm done. I'm finished. There's no more of this. I'm not doing this. There's no 𝕱𝖵𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖌. There's no Mission 12. There's no conclusion to this. I'm finished. This is just salt on the fucking wound that is Devil May Cry 2 on my brain. Lucia's level 10 is literally just Dante's copy and paste mission where he's trying to prevent an eclipse from happening. It's just that, but Lucia. And mission 12 is traversing Arius' castle, or whatever, to fight 𝕱𝖵𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖆. Probably the most dragged out boss fight I've ever fought today. Wow. Devil May Cry 2. I don't derive any enjoyment from this. You know, every video I've done with these guys on the channel, all the stuff I've helped them with, I derived enjoyment from that. I can find some pride to take in. There's none to be found here. Like, this is the first video where I actually regret participating in it. Holy fucking shit. It's not even like a fun, janky kind of boring. This shit is just boring. They made you play through this twice. Just because they were bored.
Alright, yeah, let's do it. I'm not gonna waste your time. It's the 𝕱𝖊𝖆𝖆 boss fight again. This mission actually brought this script to a screeching halt because I've run out of things to say about this game. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I played Undertale for the first time recently and it was pretty good. I somehow have been missing out on this for like the past 10 years and only now have I actually sat down, smelled the syrup, and played this shit. It's a good-ass game. This has nothing to do with DMC2, but I'd really want to be anywhere but here right now. I'm really glad Lucia's disc is completely optional, and quite honestly, I'd like for this video to just be over now. I mean, we've been at it for how long now? Do you guys really want to keep watching this? Is there any more to talk about? Like, really? There's like 2 more... The joke's not funny anymore. There's 2 more 𝕱𝖆𝖆𝖆 bosses after this, and more repeated Dante shit. I'm just gonna end my part of the video here. This has never happened to me before, but this is actually the first time ever I've been writing a script and I've genuinely run out of things to talk about. How the fuck are there still 4 missions left in this video game? I keep sitting down every day thinking, oh dude, man, time to finish the DMC2 script so I can move on with my life and never think about this shit ever again, and boom! Like 2 or 3 more missions manifest out of thin fucking air, and I'm tired. I gave this game a chance. It's okay at times, but mostly it's a boring slog I would never willingly play ever again. People defend it because it has good ideas and shit, but hey, there's this awesome game that came out called Devil May Cry 3. I've said it 300 fucking times in this video. That game does everything better than this game does. I've said it so many times. I feel like a fucking broken record. This video is bordering on actual video slop. Nay, video swill. I've repeated myself so many times. Not even in this video, just this mission alone. I think there's always something insightful or sometimes even profound to bring to the conversation when talking about games, but the well of knowledge for DMC2 has long run dry by now. I could sit here and just start making shit up or theory craft that Lucia is actually Nero's mom or something for the watch time or whatever, but that's not why I make these videos. We've squeezed and drank all the milk from the truth cow, everybody. I have officially run out of shit to say. I don't know why I ever thought this video would be a good idea, but clearly Hapy G was right all along. This game sucks! I'm sorry, Twin. I am so sorry. I should have listened. I, Weenop of Brain Alert, am a fraud. I apologize to Hapygourious. I apologize to the Brainers. I apologize to the patrons. I apologize, most importantly, to Gumbly. Because it's time for me to abandon ship. The rest of this is all... I humbly, right hand to God, I humbly leave the rest of this trash heap to Gumbly? Hello? I'm the only one left? Oh shit. Well, this didn't go as planned. Hapygourious gave up. Gumbly gave up. And even I've given up on this massive pile of horse shit we call DMC2. To have 3 men experienced in action games go into this and collectively throw in the towel speaks louder than any words I could possibly continue to dribble out of my mouth at this rate. We came, we saw, we fled. Let this video be a monument to this game's rancid, fucked up legacy as one of the worst games ever made, even today in 2025. Sure, for its time, the game probably wasn't this bad, but considering how far this series has come, this is a sight most are better off never beholding. A legendary franchise at its lowest. There's nothing here even for fans of the series, and at this point, should be treated like some kind of Keter class SCP that should be locked up somewhere far away, deep underground, and hopefully one day forgotten. What a piece of shit. Well, that's it. That's all we have. I hope it wasn't too disappointing, because DMC2, being what it is, made this one of the hardest, genuinely taxing projects in a long time, and that's saying something considering what I personally covered on the channel this year. The other 2 brain hosts didn't fare much better, and overall we're all happy to have put this game behind us for good, so at least there's some positivity to end the video. To finally put an end to this shit, I'd like to extend an extra grateful thanks for watching, as well as a thank you to the patrons. We wouldn't be doing any of this without you guys, as well as support from the hegemony. There will be a DMC3 video eventually, but until then, this will be it for our Revisiting Devil May Cry series. Until next time.
Oh, I forgot he does this. Wait, I'm gonna just tank it.
I'm just gonna watch the show.
That's what I do. Just watch the show.
I'm just gonna